how that shift happened from banking to enterprise and how you see today when the CISO's role has evolved.
How to run a bank and what runs a bank are two different things. The central bank knows what runs a bank, but a banker runs how a bank is run. So the same is applicable to security. How to run security and what makes security run.
When you say cybersecurity, you think it's a technical issue or it's a technology issue or it's a leadership mindset?
Carefully look at that evolution, you will see that the motivation of security has changed. Changed from protecting a computer to actually protecting a human being.
What are the some cybersecurity myths you will like to bust today from your organization?
Myths are folklores and folklores are good. The myths gives a false sense of comfort. And comfort, that false sense of comfort is the greatest vulnerability for cybersecurity.
When you actually come up with this topic, how long it will take, what thought you give and how you write?
Just one phrase came to my mind. Are you not just explicitly trusting somebody whom you don't know and boldly replies and we are accepting that that is correct? That may not be correct also.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB show. Today's episode is very special for me. The guest which we have today, I have been following him for more than a decade. Following his path, his thought process, and also have been chasing him from the season 1 of the GB show. And finally, we have him here for you today. And yes, Dr. Durgaprasaddube, EVP and Global CISO, Reliance Industry. I am going to talk to him about the CISO's role, how it has been shaping up these days, the metric, mindset, and the conversation they need to have with the board. And also we are going to bust a lot of myths in the cybersecurity industry. Technology, leadership, mindset, and lot of conversation around the different industries and CISO's role. So let's deep dive directly into the discussion with Dr. Dube. Sir, welcome to the GB show.
Thanks.
बहुत टाइम लगाया आपने पर देर आए दुरुस्त आए.
Gaurav, let me tell you very clearly. I always had an interest to come here, but you know the nowadays how CISO's life is. You don't know. You can't predict anything, and any day can be a adventure for you. That is why it took a little bit of time, but I'm glad that I could make it. And I'm sorry because of the delay.
No problem, sir. I'm looking forward for a great
No
conversation. And before we start, I have simply just told that what you do in your life. But for the 1% people who are watching us right now who don't know you, what you will like to tell them? Who is Dr. Durga Prasad Dube?
I am in one line if I say that I am a security evangelist, but I would rather take this opportunity to tell how I got evolved into this role.
Yeah.
I actually started my career in the Reserve Bank of India. I mean the regulator of this country.
Yeah.
And I was doing regulation per se. I was inspecting banks, doing bank supervision, foreign exchange, public debt. This is the kind of thing which I was doing, and I was trying to reach the pinnacle in that area. It so happened that youngness became a synonym for computer. I was very young, and bank was doing computerization. They thought that I should lay my hand on computer. So that is why Reserve Bank has invested on me for me to learn computer. So that is why I started putting my hand on computer and started enjoying it. And then it so happened that I was in Calcutta in RBI, and there was a department called Public Accounts Department. So I actually did computerization of that department using some code here and there. So that is why I thought that I'm good at coding, I'm good at understanding technology. Then I was transferred to Hyderabad office of RBI. Then I was deputed to Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology, which is I went there as a faculty. So that is where I think I got my baptism into technology, security, and all sort of things. That is where I interacted with professors, I interacted with bankers, I consulted many banks. So I authored my first book there, which was Information System Audit and Assurance, which was published by McGraw-Hill those days. And it was very well accepted books. It was the course curriculum in a couple of universities. It was very well accepted by the community. And I thought that I am good at these areas. Then what happened is I got a scholarship from Reserve Bank to go abroad and study in some emerging area. So I had chosen that area as information system security, and I was sent to US and UK. I spent almost 7-8 weeks there to understand this. The study essentially means that you meet many bankers, including Citibank, including JP Morgan, including World Bank, IMF, and understand what is the security practices globally and compare that to what should happen in India. I remember that was in 2004. When I came, I wrote that there has to be a role called CISO. So I wrote in my report to IBA. So that happened, and by the time when I came here, I looked back. I had ceased to be a regulator. I had become a security professional. Then I thought it makes economic sense to go to the market. That is how I shifted. So in the last line, I must say that I am an accidental CISO.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I will like to see the career path which you have started. So majorly as a regulator working with bank, and then handling the security for a one of the largest enterprise in India. How that shift happened from banking to enterprise, and how you see today when the CISO's role has evolved uh, compared to the regulated body versus something which is not regulated, but you have to make security as the first practice over there. So how was it challenging?
Right,
Was it
right. It's very, by attitude, I am a person who would say a article hot 100 degree only when I touch that. So I kind of a person whose mind is always implementations. In fact, some of my friends, senior friends, they wrote in my LinkedIn profile. They gave a comment when I was in RBI and they were in private sector. They wrote that I met Mr. Dube. That time I had not done my PhD. So, and he being in a public sector, he behaves as a private sector person. So I had always an intention of to do things in a different way and be little more progressive, little more. I'm not saying that central bank is not progressive. What I'm saying is that how to run a bank and what runs a bank are two different things. The central bank knows what runs a bank, but a banker runs how a bank is run. So the same is applicable to security. How to run security and what makes security run. There are two important things. So fortunately, I'm happy, and by the grace of God, I know both the things. I know how to make security work, and I also know what makes security work.
fair enough? And let me get something out of you now from the perspective with your experience when you look into when you say cybersecurity, you think it's a technical issue, or it's a technology issue, or it's a leadership mindset? How you see cybersecurity today?
I think I think if you look at cybersecurity, the word cybersecurity came in late 2000. Before that, it was IT security, something like that. So that evolution, if you carefully look at that evolution, if you will see that the motivation of security has changed from protecting a computer to actually protecting a human being. If you look at that evolution and reaching IT security to cyber security, you yourself will think that cyber security, while the motivation or the requirement is to protect an individual, technology cannot help there. So technology is essential, and technology has stood the test of the time. It has helped us in combating multiple threats. But in today's world, where everything is hyper connected and there is no boundary, and most of the hack happens by attacking the person at their weakest moment, and then make that person as the conduit to get into the organization. In just think about, you say yourself that do you think that any technology can help it? I can give an example. Let's say solar wind happened in 2000, and nobody could protect it. Solar wind happened. It was good that it happened to a highly secured organizations, and they are into investigations. I know I'm talking about Mandian.
Yeah.
So they finally saw after 1 year that something fishy is happening. So they did some investigation and found that 20 organizations in the world, they are already infected and they don't know they are infected. What I'm saying is a simple thing, simple software update could create a problem for 20 global organizations whom I think I have a lot of respect for those organizations. They are highly secure, they have invested in tools, but they could not protect anything. So what was lacking there? The lacking was something, maybe mindset, maybe something which is the management intent for the security. And one thing, Gaurav, which I passionately feel, and all through my life I have passionately felt it, not only felt it, I actually implemented that. Is like there is not a single technology solution for a management problem. There are multiple management solutions to a technology problem. So I think to answer your question straight, security was technology issue earlier, but today it's a boardroom issue. It's a mindset issue. It's a resilience issue. It's not that we are trying to prevent something. The most important thing which all of us should do is to make sure that we run in spite of an attack.
Fair enough. And specifically when you say organization and you say leadership, board, and mindset issue. So, what the organization still think? What are the some cybersecurity myth you will like to bust today from your organization and the experience which you have seen so far?
So Gaurav, myths are folklores, and folklores are good. We folklores actually are glued. They connect us to the community. Every community has a folklore. But myth, the folklore in cybersecurity is myth. There are so many myths. I mean, traditionally going those myths. I'll talk about few of the myths, but I must say one sentence here. The myths gives a false sense of comfort. And comfort, that false sense of comfort is the greatest vulnerability for cybersecurity. There is no comfort in cybersecurity. Even to stand still, you have to run perpetually. So what I'm saying, the myth. Let me give a couple of example of the myth. The first question you asked me is a myth that cybersecurity is a technology issue. It's not a technology issue anymore. Anymore is a technology issue. Now also I think so many people. I'm sure you don't think that, but there are many people who are in the business of walking the stocks. They think that cybersecurity is a technology issue, which is wrong. Number two is like people think that compliance is security. Compliance is not security. If you look at the objective of the regulator, be it SEBI or be it RBI, they are only very clear. The SEBI objective of the SEBI regulation is to protect the interest of the investor. The objective of the RBI regulator is to protect the interest of the depositor. So they are not interested whether hack happens or not. They are interested to protecting their. So they are interested for the governance. So that is where in not that you cannot infer. Compliance has stood the test of the time, and they have helped us improving security in regulatory entities. But that doesn't mean that non-compliant entities are less secure than compliant entities. So I think that is a myth that once your compliance checklist is checked, you say that you are secured, you are actually missing the forest for the trees. Third thing is, which I think, which will, as I know you are also a highly technical person, you will understand that many people may not be relating to themselves. I think that let's say I give an example of a neuroscientist and a neurosurgeon. Both of them, they understand brain, isn't it? Neuroscientist understand brain and neurosurgeon also understand brain, but both of them cannot do each other's job. A neuroscientist understands brain and neurosurgeon also understands brain. Why I'm saying is, I'm giving an example of a red teamer and a blue teamer. A hacker, which is a fantastic hacker who can break anything, if you ask the same entity to implement something, it will be not successful. But the two traits are very different. These two skills are very different. You try to do that, you sometimes get excited with a hackers thinking that he's good, very good. Let's आप आके मेरा implementation करो, होगा नहीं. So that is another myth. So there are many myths, and in fact, in my book, upcoming book, which is coming maybe the first week of March, I have a chapter on 10 myths of cybersecurity. So I have, if you ask me, I can tell all those 10 myths, but let me stop it here. Ask me any other questions.
Okay, so book you are saying, okay. So tell me more about that. So what is the book is all about? What book we are talking about?
This is actually my second book.
Okay.
As I said you that my first book was in 2004. I don't try to read that book because everything I had written in that book has become outdated now. because that was in 2004. So I thought of writing something very different. So I started two years before, thinking that I'll write something which everybody can read. You can actually read while you are waiting for the flight. You have a 2 hours time. You can read that book. You may be a student, maybe a researcher, maybe a CISO, maybe a board member. Everybody should feel like reading that book. That is what I was thinking. Then I started writing, and then always I had a fear. I had a fear of that I will become obsolete, because the more time I take, by the time the concepts will become obsolete. So essentially, the book is on demystifying cybersecurity. How the cybersecurity has reached a boardroom issue, how uh, prevention will never work, resilience is more important, and how cloud, what are the hidden threats for the cloud, how the quantum computing is coming, how to take care of the quantum computing, what are the dark side or the flip side of the AI adoption. And I have a chapter which you would like the most, is like I'm very much influenced by Sanju's Art of War.
Okay.
So my last chapter is Art of Cyber Defense. I have told 10 art of cyber defense, because I again passionately think that cyber defense is an art, it's not a technology. By sitting in a computer, opening a datagram, opening an IP packet and doing something, gone are those days. You will not be doing anything. It is an art. How to manage young people, how to make sure that they are not threatened, so many other things. So that is how the art of cyber defense I have written. I have written 10 points, 10
Okay.
arts of cyber defense. And that's my last chapter before the epilogue. And I just revealing here through your podcast that
Sure.
that is going to be my next book, which is Art of Cyber Defense, which is each para is a chapter there. So I'll be 10 chapter book, which is Art of Cyber Defense. That will be my
Okay.
next book.
Amazing, and I will look forward
Yes, yeah.
to this. I'm like when it is releasing.
It is actually published by Bloomsbury,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be released on 3rd, because of this Holi and all. Got delayed for 2-3 days. But the people who have given bulk order, or people who have given order before that, they will get delivered. I have
Okay.
not seen the book now till now. I'll
Okay.
get my other copy next 2-3 days.
Fair enough. I mean, even I'm looking forward to have a look to the book and get a lot of learnings out from there.
I
So,
hope so. I have a
so
lot of expectation, because the book has become a bestseller in the pre-book category. That gives a lot of expectation problem. I again, yesterday I took 3 hours time to read the manuscript again. I thought that I might have done something somewhere wrong, because so many people are reading. I should reach up to their expectations.
and I like one of that quality of yours, which I have already observed, that you read a lot, you write a lot, and even when I was coming here in the morning, I just see yesterday you talked something on the AI and you wrote a blog. So how was that like? When you actually come up with this topic, how long it will take, what thought you give, and how you write. So what is the behind the scene which works? Like, if I talk about yesterday's blog, when you thought that you want to write it, and when it was written and published, and how the process works.
I'll tell you a very interesting thing. I was in Goa airport. My
Okay.
flight was delayed for 1 hour. So I was sitting silently. I was very tired. I thought of, I was not able to get sleep. So I thought of thinking something very good. So I thought of, every CISO may be thinking like that, that AI adoption in an organization is top driven. I mean, CISOs currently, not many CISOs has the power to stop that adoption. It will be against the wind, and it is not good also for the organizations. AI has to get adopted. But the flip side of the AI adoption is like you are allowing so many things traditionally which you should not have allowed. People are taking data, uploading data, which is going to the cloud. These are all against all traditional security ethics. And I was just one phrase came to my mind is like, are you not uh, uh, just explicitly trusting somebody whom you don't know? Like maybe somebody who fluently answers and boldly replies, and we are accepting that that is correct. That may not be correct also. And I compared with some smart guys in the company. Those are very well dressed, they speak very well. They sometimes get very certain benefit by talking very good. And sometimes 60-70% of the leaders, they tend to believe them. But people like me and people, I know my colleagues also, respected colleagues, they would look at that kind of person very seriously. They will not, in the face value, accept them. So I thought this line. I thought that AI in the room is that smart looking, smart speaking, fluent speaking young man who is not trying to defraud us, but we are not supposed to believe him in the face value. Let's wait, let's judge. So I was just giving WhatsApp message to my wife, multiple WhatsApp message by writing I gave to my wife. She was very confused that what am I doing? What is that message for? But actually I had no laptop there. So I was writing in the WhatsApp messages and just giving. And those messages I compiled yesterday night and put as a post in LinkedIn.
Wow, amazing. And that's how I think people should be, talking, and with the kind of work and the things which you are managing, these small short pieces, putting it together on the go. Actually, I think that's the way how it should be. And there's another two points which you have mentioned. I will like to talk more on that as well. One, you mentioned the power of CISO, and another you mentioned about the boardroom. Okay, so I will go with the first. The power of CISO when we are talking about AI adoption or something. But today, if we look to the CISO role or budding CISOs which we see in the industry as well, they have more of accountability, and but when we discuss, they have less of authority. Is it something you have observed, and what's your take on that?
No, you're right. This is very asymmetric configurations. Means authority without accountability is disaster. And I agree with you that most of the CISOs they don't have the kind of authority which they are supposed to have. Why that has happened is because the fundamental issue is like the existential dimension of CISO. If you look at the CISO, how the CISO role got created, CISO role became very prominent in India because of regulation. Because the insurance regulator, the market regulator, SEBI and RBI, they said that every bank should have a CISO, should have a deputy CISO, regulator said. So everywhere 4-5 years experience people also become CISO. It's good that there is an aspiration for them. But at the same time, they were not given the kind of role, kind of authority which they are supposed to have. Traditionally, of course, because of RBI and regulations, CISOs in those entities, they have started reporting to the CEOs and sometimes to the chief risk officer and all sort of things. And I know, I don't want to name, I know respected banks where CISOs have a good positions. But 60-70% they still report to the IT. They are, so it has a very real conflict of interest. Technology people, the CIO and all, they are great in their own way. They have tremendous knowledge on technology, but their mandate is little different from the mandate of the CISO. Their mandate is roll out something very fast. Their mandate is adopting something very fast. Where CISO's mandate is not that. Fastness for a CISO is not good always. Only fastness is required when combating a crime. But other than that, fastness is little difficult because the moment you do fast, then there could be something which will go without your notice and which is uncontrolled and something, and after that what happens is disaster. After that what would happen, which I call it a blame the victim syndrome. I mean, if some hack happens or something happens, do you think that any other entities who are bullying the CISO will take the responsibility? The responsibility will come on the same person who is actually the victim. So I call that a blame the victim syndrome for the CISO. So so actually there is an issue. What you said is completely there is an issue, but things are changing. Things are changing globally and things are changing in India. I have seen a lot of CISOs, they are getting more and more empowered. CISO is going to the board. So one good thing happened for everywhere is like the board has started understanding security seriously.
Yeah.
They sometimes teach us that what to do. This is something which is great. This I have faced all through my career. That I have actually lot of guidance I have got from the board to implement cybersecurity. This is something great. And the culture part of it, the the cybersecurity culture in an organization is actually getting developed now. Now everybody start talking about the culture. So when talk about culture, I something comes to my mind. If you want to know what is actually culture, I mean cybersecurity culture in any organizations. If I tell you a culture that I have a Punjabi culture, what does it mean? If I say that I have a Bihari culture, what does it mean? I think there are only three things. Just forget for the timing cybersecurity. I have only three things. I have a shared space. Somewhere I have a space in Punjab. That is why I am saying that I am a Punjabi culture. I have a collective habit. I have some habit like I am a foodie. I
I love Bhangra.
I love Bangla, all sort of things. So that is one thing. And the third thing is that is collective behavior. And another thing is shared language. I understand Punjabi. I can speak Punjabi. These three things, if you translate into cybersecurity, you will find that how you can make a culture in cybersecurity culture in any organizations. You have a collective habit. Make sure that they will follow something which is cyber appropriate behavior. That is the collective habit. Talk everybody understand one language. CISO should not talk risk in a different language. CFO should not say risk in a different language. That is the language. And the space. The space is very important. When I say space, CISO should have a space on the risk management area. It's a risk. Everybody accept that it is a risk, but CISO is nowhere nearer to the CRO. So that is what I call the existential dimension. So CISO, you have a shared space inside the risk forum, and I told you about the collective habit. I told you about the shared space, shared language, and collective habit. The three together becomes a culture. Now you know how to foster a culture in any organization for any kind of culture.
And I think that is what boards should start doing apart from just looking at metrics and dashboards, right? And how you think the board should get into these activities and enforce all these kind of things? What
Actually,
can be
board are very clear. I have tremendous respect for board members. I have seen board members of multiple organizations. I have tremendous respect. They say they do not like two, three things. One thing is they don't like to be taught. If you go and give Gyan to the board in the board meeting, I'm sure they would not like it. They would not like vanity metrics also. If you go and tell them, I have 4 billion events, I have this 40,000 servers, you may be thinking you are trying to get a brownie point, you are not. I mean, counting the raindrops will not tell you that whether it will rain tomorrow or not. So your metrics should be very clear metrics. So that is what board today wants, only good metrics, which is resilient metrics. Board is more clear about resilience. That if anything happens, nothing is going to wrong. I don't get a regulatory fine. I don't get a headline in the newspaper. My share price should not come down. So these are most important things. That is where resilient metrics are most important. Minimum time to isolate a system. We all talk about minimum time to detect, minimum time to prevent, the minimum time to isolate a system. That is what board will be interested to know. And believe Gaurav me that these metrics for me was actually proposed by the board that you should have this kind of a metrics. And another thing which I wanted to say is like and board, which is very interesting thing, that however you go and whatever you show to the board, like your numbers, your today they are talking about the CRQ, quantifying the risk and all. It may work. I'm not saying these are all bad solutions. I'm saying it is good solutions. You can show that. But what really works in front of the board is that board should have trust in you. That trust is very important. And that trust of a CISO with the board, with the other stakeholders, is actually what I said you couple of, little before this, is like what makes security work is like this trust, to build the trust among all the stakeholders, including the board. If these people have trust on the CISO actually does most of the things done because of that. Do you think the awareness works by giving awareness posters? It doesn't work like this. Awareness is influence. You are giving an awareness mailer, people would get bored about the mailer, nobody would read. The awareness is actually what is your influence. How do you influence people? How do people look up to you? How do people think that, hey, Gaurav is my CISO, he is good, he will take care of, don't worry. So these kind of feeling, there is no prescription for this. You have to go up to that level to demonstrate yourself as a leader with everybody, and that will work. That will really work. That will work efficiently. When I say efficiently, it means that without buying so many tools, it will work.
Fair enough. And we have seen when you're talking about tools, people are putting so many tools in the organization and strategies and stuff too. So, what worked for you? Because you are one of the influencer, not internally but externally as well, right? So what is something you say? One good thing you did in past, and then the series of things which actually take you where you are today and made you an influencer, internal and external. So what worked for you?
I think thinking little differently and understanding that the understanding those myths, what I said you, couple of myths I said you, and demystifying those myths not only outside but internally also, and giving tremendous respect for something which I call human firewall. Let me give you one example which you will appreciate. Let's say there is a zero-day threat which is coming to you through a mail. If it's a zero-day threat, nothing will detect it. Your antivirus will not detect it. Your firewall will not detect it. So threat will land in a mailbox. And the only control which will work is, if the people know that this mail is from outside, I will not click it. I will send it to the security telling that it looks suspicious. So what the security guys does is, they do a reverse engineering and they find that this is deadly. So they send it to their antivirus or EDR vendors. They send it to their gateway vendors telling that this has passed through your system. Make sure that you developed patches or you developed whatever controls. The next time it comes, you should protect. So not only that guy who reported this incident saved this company, he saved hundreds of companies globally, because the same solution which is used by elsewhere, the same threat comes. Now that that guy has reported, that will be there in their signatures. So that will not come here. So which control worked here? Do you think that firewall worked here? EDR worked here? SIM worked here? Deception worked here? Nothing worked. What worked is the human firewall. So I am completely convinced that most important is the human firewall. You have to give importance to the human, train them properly, make them feel that security is important. I mean, you may go and tell people that privacy is important, this, that, security is important. They will give you a lip service, they will understand it, but they will not take it seriously. The moment they internalize it, they will feel seriously. So that is what is awareness, is actually fostering a cybersecurity culture, making sure that everybody understands cyber appropriate behavior. That is most important. And that has worked. That has worked for me. Till now, that has worked for me.
Fair enough, and that's really a great advice. And I think all the CISOs who are watching this must be not only me, they will also be appreciating it. And in this whole journey, if I say today, because you mentor many CISOs and the budding cybersecurity professionals and things like, what do you tell them to unlearn first? Because learning and mentorshiping is different, because you have to go through something like, okay, what do you tell them? This will not work.
Yeah, it's good question. So, for me, one of my greatest achievement, if somebody asks me that, what's your, I have spent 43 years in corporate domain, including RBI and Reliance. And for 2-3 years, I was also in a consulting company. So I think one of the greatest achievement for me, which makes me feel happy, and I thank God for that, is that I have mentored so many young people, and looking at them, that they are becoming, mind my word, what I'm saying is, they are becoming ethical cybersecurity professionals, globally acclaimed, makes me feel happy. I use the word very carefully. They are ethical and they are globally acclaimed. So, and I am, when I see them, I feel so happy. Actually, I really thank God that this is something which has happened for me. Now coming to the what they should unlearn. They should unlearn one thing, that prevention will always work. I mean, all of us have gone through. I mean, you are very young, but I'm sure you will definitely have heard this word or this phrase that prevention is better than cure. I'm sure you have heard.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
The prevention is better than cure. That will work in an environment which is not very dynamic. Otherwise, people would have made a vaccine to cure COVID in the first day itself. Na? They could not cure COVID in the first day because the dynamism of COVID was not known to them. That is where combating COVID was not prevention. It was detection. It was all sort of things. So what I'm trying to say is, cybersecurity is a very dynamic domain. In this dynamic domain, prevention doesn't alone work. Prevention is essential but not sufficient. The young cybersecurity professionals, they should internalize it. So two things I would request. I can say many things, but the two things at least they should know. The first thing is prevention is not the utopia for everything. It is not the solutions for everything. And the number two is people matters. So don't spend 10% on people and 90% on tools. You can little flip that. I don't know exactly what, but little flip it also.
Fair enough. And
When I say people, I say so many things which I don't want to say here.
okay. So whatever information you have given, I think that's to the point, and I guess everyone need to follow that as well. And I'll just try to switch the topic back because on the book which we have talked, and I would like to know more about that. So the book which you have written right now, and I'm waiting for it to get my hands on that and to read it. So you started your journey with regulation as a regulator, and then CISO. So the book cover more of regulator part or CISO part, or what is the overall theme? If
But I say to Gaurav that when I wrote this book, I had one thing in my mind, that couple of things. The two things, let me tell you. One thing is that I will not write about any organizations, be it my organization or be it for any organizations. So there is nothing you will find about any organizational specific thing. Number one. Number two is, I was very careful of the readers. I thought that readers could be anybody.
okay,
So if you look at this book, you will find topics like I said about cyber appropriate behavior. I am influenced by COVID appropriate behavior. So I wrote something called cyber appropriate behavior. It's very different from normal cyber security awareness what you take. I have written something about cyber immunity. So instead of prevention, how you make your autonomous systems which will learn itself and then protect you. That is what I have written something about cyber immunity. I have written something about, I said you, cyber appropriate behavior. I have written something about cloud blind spot. I compared cloud with Airbnb and said that how do you really take care of that Airbnb host and guest issues, and compared that with the this thing your cloud. So I think very very different thoughts, very different thinkings, and couple of things I have already posted in my LinkedIn. I have just elaborated on those things.
okay.
But I'm better that you read this book and understand instead of me saying everything here.
Fair enough. So I think all CISOs, regulator, and board should be reading your book, right?
I hope
And
so. I hope so.
and that is what I think I will tell everyone. So on this podcast, what is the one thing you will like to tell which is not in the part of the book?
Good, good. Okay.
So I also want to add some value, right? So
Yeah.
so what is something which is not in the book and you will like to give it on exclusive on the GB show?
Yeah, I think when I finish my book, I could have told so many things, but I'll tell one two things. By that time, this DPDPA rules came.
Yeah.
So I thought that I will write something very critical things about DPDPA, which I normally say, but I could not write in the book because by that time the manuscript has gone to the press. But I have a view on the privacy.
Sure.
So the view on the privacy is like 30-40 years back, when my sister was doing a social science research, I took her to a place to collect some data, personal data, I mean so-called personal data. The moment we reached there, we are going in a two-wheeler. So we reached there, so many people came to us. I mean, not only they are interested to give their data, they were interested to give the data of their neighbors also. And the reason for that is they always thought that they will get benefit out of it, either money or something like. They thought that we are government people, have come there to collect data and they will get a benefit out of it. What I'm saying in privacy and all what we are talking to the data subjects is to don't give your data or give your data. We are not emphasizing on what benefit they will give when they give their data to you. So that I'm not saying monetization. The moment I say monetization, people will pounce on me. If I say pay per consent, then every consent you give, you should pay for this. So then regulators will pounce on me. I know couple of big guys in the industry. They told me and they told this is not correct. This is go against the law. You cannot ask that when I'm giving my consent, you should pay. I'm not saying pay per se, but I'm saying that benefit to the data subjects has to be very explicitly defined in the law. Which today the rhetoric is as if the law and regulation saying that hey, people are giving data like profusely. Now there is a law come and they will prevent you giving the data. That is not the case. If that is the case, Googles of the world, of the Metas of the world will not sustain. They are collecting the data like anything, and they are not collecting the data now. Their business is collecting data. So data people are giving. So they are not protecting that. They are not trying to prevent that. What they are trying to prevent is that something protecting the interest of that particular user from a sovereign perspective, which they are doing, which is very good. Which I am saying that explicitly that the benefits should come clearly, so which are not written in the book. I thought I should write a chapter which I have not written. What else? What else comes to me is, I think so many things every day. I think that this I should have written in the book, but I think I have a chapter there. I have chapter of insecurities for security CISOs. I have a chapter on that. How insecurities are not good for CISOs. I mean,
Wow, that sounds interesting.
there is a chapter on that. I think nothing much comes to my mind. I think this is what I thought that I should.
I have something from my side which I want to know. Okay, and maybe I don't know if you want to write a book to help the people like me. I also come from a CISO background. Have been a part of that industry. When I came here, my entrepreneurial journey started, and trying to build education, the culture, that is.
I'm really happy that you have done that. That is the not only that you have helped the community. Actually, what I would say that is a service to the mankind. Education is a service to the mankind in today's world.
Sure. Thanks, and that is something which my passion, talking to people, and I call myself cybersecurity marketer, so in that way. But yeah, so when we the chair change, okay, from CISO to you become an entrepreneur, people started looking with the lens of a vendor, and that कि ये आएगा तो कुछ बेचेगा ही, वो एक scene होता है. But anyway, so when you look for the vendors, or when you look for any entrepreneur or founders who are making cybersecurity, what is your advice to them? So if as a CISO they are coming and meeting you, so what is your expectations from them, that what they should bring on table, how they should approach, and something like
I'll tell you
that is for all founders. Maybe you have not mentioned anything in your book about that, but
I have not mentioned.
so vendors and the people like me will like to hear from you. So your thoughts on that will.
I think for me, let me candidly admit that most of my learnings are from service providers or vendors like you people. I have learned a lot of things from them by interacting with them, by understanding what kind of solutions they offer. So I have done that all through my life. So what I think in today's world, when somebody is trying to pitch a solutions, it is always better when you are meeting CISO, you should have a technical discussion in understanding the architecture of the solution, how it works, how it fits into the ecosystems. So these are very important. Instead of again the same thing which I said, that when you are going and pitching to the board, don't try to ज्ञान session mat karo. You have say 15 slides and 10 slides or ज्ञान on security. Every CISO will get bored because you are actually preaching Bible to the priest. So that is not required. You actually should straightway get into the system. And another thing is, I am sure you will appreciate, and you would have, being in both sides, you will understand. So perpetually, it's what should happen is you should search for a solution for a problem which you are having. You should not search for a problem for a solution which you are having.
Exactly.
So that should not be the case. Somebody gives you a solution and you start thinking whether I have a problem or not. That means that solution doesn't fit, it becomes a force fit. You should have a problem. If you don't know the problem, the role of the vendor or the role of the service provider is to tell you that you have a problem which you don't know. Let me tell you a problem which is like absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. You got it what I'm saying? If a CISO sees that there is no evidence, there is no alert, that doesn't mean that he's not, nothing is happening. So absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Something may be happening, you don't know that. So that's a problem. All of us think that हमारा तो last one कुछ critical alert आया नहीं, that itself is a problem.
Fair enough.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Good, great. I think sir जी बहुत मजा आया मुझे बात
अरे
करके.
Gaurav, thank you very much.
It's a really a good, great.
I never
insight.
thought that I'm in a GB show or I'm in a podcast. I thought I'm talking to you for a long time. I have not spoken to you, so I thought it's time for me to talk to you.
And I think I have a last segment here.
Tell me.
Where we ask you to interact with the audience directly. And for all my budding CISOs or the friends or something who are watching you right now, what kind of advice you will like them to give that, okay, what they should do with the all new change of the CISO's role, the ecosystem, how industries are moving, geopolitical, war, right now whatever is happening around the world. What is the advice you have for budding CISOs?
I would say one thing which I've learned from a legendary cricketer, which is Alan Border, who is no more in this world. When the endorsement started in cricket and cricketers started earning money because of endorsement, Alan Border said a sentence which I have internalized to myself, is that concentrate on runs, endorsement will follow. If you concentrate on endorsement, runs will never follow. So for cybersecurity professional, most important is concentrate on skill, and all your pay hike, your existential dimensions, your authority will come to you. Don't worry, it will definitely come to you. Increase in your skill. That's more important.
Wow, I think we are ending it on the high note. That's a great. It was great talking to you, sir, and I hope guys you enjoyed. Right now, book is live. You will see the link in the description. Go buy and read more about Dr. Durga Prasad Dube. I'll see you in next episode. Till then, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Gaurav.